Hello students. Up to the previous classes we have discussed about aldehydes and ketones. It means introduction to aldehydes, ketones, and their nomenclature and various preparation methods of aldehydes and ketones, and chemical reactions of aldehydes and ketones, nucleophilic addition reactions, condensation reactions, and oxidation reactions and reduction reactions of aldehydes and ketones were discussed in the previous classes. And in today's class, the last topic of this chapter, that is the analysis of aldehydes and ketones, that is we are going to discuss now this one, that is analysis of aldehydes and ketones. And also we are going to discuss about the introduction to alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. Then first, coming to analysis of aldehydes and ketones, the first one is 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine test. This test is used in the laboratory for identifying the presence of carbonyl group, that is aldehydes, the presence of aldehydes and ketones. Generally this group is used. In this, the used reagent is 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine. See, already in the chemical reactions we have discussed the reactions of aldehydes and ketones with hydrazine, phenylhydrazine. See, this is also phenylhydrazine, but here at 2,4 positions 2 nitro groups are there. See here like this. This is 2,4-DNP, 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine. And next, see here, coming to aldehydes and ketones, they give this test. That means both aldehydes and ketones contain carbonyl group. They give this 2,4 diphenylhydrazine test. See here, such compounds, that is which compounds contain carbonyl group, they react with 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine to give the corresponding yellow or orange crystalline hydrozones. See here, already we have discussed in the chemical properties of aldehydes and ketones that aldehydes and ketones, they react with phenylhydrazine and they form a phenylhydrazone derivative, as well as they react with hydrazine and they form hydrazone derivative. In the same way, these aldehydes and ketones, they react with this 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine and they form 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazone derivative. See here, and this is generally yellow or orange crystalline compounds. That means that these carbonyl compounds, that aldehydes and ketones, they react with 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine to give corresponding yellow or orange crystalline hydrozones. This is the 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine test. For this test, generally, first we have to take a clean and dry test tube. Then in the test tube we have to add 2 drops of the substance, that is whether aldehyde or ketone, generally 2 drops of substance. That means if it is liquid, if the given compound is liquid, we have to add 2 drops of the substance. Or if the given compound is, if it is solid, we use its alcoholic solution generally. Means if it is liquid, generally we use 2 drops of the substance. Or if the given compound is solid, we have to add its alcoholic solution. Then adding 2 ml of 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine, then we have to add 2 ml of 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine Along with it, we have to add one drop of concentrated H2SO4. See here, we know the role of acid in this uh, reactions. The presence of this concentrated H2SO4, that is acidic condition, it facilitates the reaction. That means, first of all, 2 drops of the substance should be it is taken in a clean and dry test tube, and adding 2 ml of 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine, and we have to add 1 drop of concentrated H2SO4. Then we have to shake vigorously the test tube, and then just heat it, and then allow to stand for 5 minutes generally. After generally around 5 minutes, yellow orange precipitate separates out. This appearance of yellow or orange precipitate, it indicates the presence of carbonyl group. That is, if the compound is having carbonyl, if it is carbonyl compound, it gives this yellow or orange crystalline precipitate. See, for example, this is the reaction, that is carbonyl compound. It reacts with this is the 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine. This is hydrazine, phenylhydrazine, and at 2,4 positions we have 2 nitro groups. That means, when this carbonyl compounds reacts with 2,4-DNP in the presence of acidic conditions, what happens with the loss of water molecule? It means, with the loss of water molecule, this hydrazone is formed. This is the product, and this is in yellow or orange color generally. This generally this is formed as a precipitate. This indicates the presence of carbonyl group. Generally, this 2,4 dinitrophenylhydrazine test is used for identification of aldehydes and ketones. And then the next one is see here, haloform test. Actually, this is the specific test for methyl ketones and acetaldehydes. That is, the in aldehydes, acetaldehyde, it gives this tests. And coming to ketones, the methyl ketones means the ketones which are having CH3C double bond O group. That group containing that, those are called as methyl ketones. That means, in ketones, methyl ketones, and in aldehydes, acetaldehyde. These generally gives this haloform test. This is the specific test for methyl ketones and acetaldehyde. Generally, for this test, that means, first of all, take a clean and dry test tube, and in that we have to add 0.5 grams of the substance, and for this substance we have to add 3-4 drops of iodine solution. Then sodium hydroxide solution, it should be added drop by drop. Then afterwards, we have to warm the solution till the brown color of the iodine disappears. Then an yellow PPT of iodoform results. This shows the presence of acetaldehyde or methyl ketone. That is, this is a specific test for methyl ketones and acetaldehydes. That means, to the substance adding iodine and followed by sodium hydroxide. By just warming the solution, a yellow PPT is formed. That is known as iodoform. This indicates the presence of acetaldehyde and methyl ketone. For example, see here, as we are adding sodium hydroxide and iodine, first of all, it is converted into, that means, when sodium hydroxide, it reacts with this iodine, and it forms this sodium iodide. See here, this forms this NaI and NaIO. See here, then this NaIO, it reacts with the methyl ketones generally. First of all, this sodium hydroxide reacts with iodine. It forms this sodium iodide NaI and NaIO. This H2O. The formed this NaIO, it reacts with this methyl ketones, and see here, it forms this triiodoketone generally. This is not Cl. This is iodine. Triiodoketone plus sodium hydroxide. See here, then the triiodoketone, which is formed with this sodium hydroxide, it is converted into CHI3. See here, this is CHI3. CHI3, it is the iodoform, along with the sodium salt of carboxylic acid is, so the CHI3 is formed. That means this is haloform test. This CHI3 is generally it is an LOPBT. That means, see here, first sodium hydroxide, it reacts with this iodine, it forms NaIO. This formed NaIO, it reacts with this methyl ketones or acetaldehyde. It forms this triiodoketone. Again, the formed triiodoketone reacts with this sodium hydroxide, which gives the formation of iodoform. The iodoform is in yellow color. This is the test for aldehydes and ketones. See here, this is the mechanism. First of all, this iodine with NaOH, it forms these compounds, and the form this NaIO, it reacts with this acetaldehyde. It forms this Cl3CHO and NaOH, and the formed this Cl3COCH3, it with NaOH, it forms, sorry, this is formed here with this NaOH, it forms CHI3. This is formed. This is called as iodoform. That means this acetaldehyde and methyl ketone, they give this reaction. And of course, coming to these aldehydes, coming to alcohols, this test is shown by compounds containing generally CH3CHOH. For example, ethanol, propane 2-ol, butane 2-ol. These type of compounds also they show this haloform reaction. Coming to aldehydes and ketones, in aldehydes, acetaldehyde, and in ketones, this methyl ketones, they show this haloform test. And next, coming to see, for example, this acetophenone is there, which is having this methyl ketone group should be there. It reacts with this and it forms, see here, this triiodo ketone. This is not Cl here, this is actually iodine. Triiodo ketone, which upon treating with NaOH, it forms generally it forms a haloform. This is haloform test. Next, coming to analysis of aldehydes. See, coming to aldehydes and ketones, aldehydes, they show some reactions. Coming to ketones and aldehydes, see here, aldehydes, they get easily oxidized, while coming to ketones, the oxidation of ketones is somewhat difficult when compared to aldehydes. So aldehydes can be easily oxidized by mild oxidizing agents, while coming to ketones, they only oxidized by strong oxidizing agents, generally in acidic medium. But coming to aldehydes, they get easily oxidized with milder oxidizing agents. See, coming to this analysis of aldehydes, let us see the reactions. First of all, this is the reaction, the Schiff solution test. Coming to Schiff solution test, the Schiff's reagent is dilute solution of rosanilin hydrochloride in water. Actually, it is having pink color, and this pink color of this dilute solution of rosanilin hydrochloride, it is discharged by passing sulfur dioxide gas, and these aldehydes, they restore the color of a Schiff's reagent. That means presence of aldehydes, it converts into again pink color. This indicates the presence of aldehydes. Coming to the taste, first of all, in a pure and dry, as a clean and dry test tube, first of all we have to take the 2 ml of Schiff's reagent, and we have to add 5 to 6 drops. If the compound is solid, we have to add 0.3 gram of the solid compound. Means to the Schiff's reagent we have to add 5 to 6 drops of solid the given compound, or 0.3 grams of the compound, and shake vigorously, and we have to wait for 1-2 minutes. Generally a deep red or violet color, it indicates the presence of an aldehyde group. Means aldehydes, they restore the color of this Schiff's reagent. That means a deep red color generally indicates the presence of an aldehyde group. Of course, aliphatic aldehydes, they restore the color quickly, but while coming to this aromatic aldehydes, they restore the color very slowly. Okay, this is about Schiff's solution test. Coming to Schiff's solution test, the Schiff's reagent is dilute solution of rosanilin hydrochloride in water. Aldehyde, they first of all this Schiff's reagent is having pink color. The color is has been discharged by passing sulfur dioxide gas. Coming to aldehyde, they restore the color of Schiff's reagent. For this test, first we have to take 2 ml of the Schiff's reagent in a test tube, and to this we have to add 5 to 6 drops of the given compound, or if the compound is solid, then we have to add 0.3 grams of the compound, and we have to shake vigorously for 2 minutes around. Then if a deep red or sometimes violet color, it indicates the presence of aldehydes or an aldehyde group. That means and moreover aliphatic aldehydes, they readily give this Schiff's solution test, while coming to aromatic aldehydes, they restore the color very slowly. This is about Schiff's solution test. And coming to Tollens reagent test, already we have discussed in the chemical properties of aldehydes and ketones. See here, Tollens reagent test. Here the Tollens reagent is ammonical silver nitrate solution. That means we are taking silver nitrate and ammonia hydroxide mixture. This ammonical silver nitrate solution is the Tollens reagent. First of all, for this we have to take 2-3 ml of silver nitrate solution in a clean and dry test tube. Then to this we have to add 2 drops of sodium hydroxide solution. Then now put in it dilute ammonium hydroxide drop wise till the precipitated silver hydroxide is almost redissolved. Now add to it a pinch of the compound and warm on the water bath. Generally this silver mirror is formed if aldehyde is present in the given compound. First of all, see here, we have to take 2-3 ml of silver nitrate solution in a clean and dry test tube. To this add 2 drops of dilute sodium hydroxide solution. Now put in it dilute ammonium we have to add dilute ammonium hydroxide dropwise till the precipitated silver oxide is almost redissolved. Then for this we have to add a pinch of the compound and just warm on the water bath. Then the silver mirror is formed. That means the silver coating appears on the walls of the test tube. We can easily identify this that means this formation of silver mirror, it indicates the presence of aldehyde group. This is actually the chemical that means a reaction of this Tollens reagent. See here, this is silver nitrate with ammonium hydroxide. It forms this complex. See here, this is the complex which formed along with ammonium nitrate and water. This complex, that means when we mix this silver nitrate and ammonium hydroxide, this complex is formed, and this complex, it treats with the aldehyde group and it forms. See here, the silver is reduced to silver. The silver is reduced, that means here aldehydes, they act as reducing agents, and the silver which is formed as a mirror, that means the coating of the silver appears along the walls of the test tube. This is known as Tollens reagent test. That means they reduce the Tollens reagent to the formation of silver. This is known as Tollens reagent test. And the next is, okay, this is about Tollens reagent. See here, silver nitrate and ammonium hydroxide. The mixture gives this complex. This complex reacts with this aldehyde group and form it reduced into silver. This is known as Tollens test. And next, coming to the Fehling solution test. This is also used for the analysis of aldehydes. Then first of all, we have to take 1 ml of the mixture of 1 ml of a mixture of equal amounts of Fehling solutions A and B in a test tube, and we have to add to it 4 to 5 drops of 0.2 milligram of the organic compound, that means which we have to analysis. That means first of all, we have to take a 1 ml mixture of equal amounts of Fehling solutions A and B in a clean and dry test tube, and to this, if the given compound is liquid, we have to add 4-5 drops of the compound, or if the given compound is solid, just we have to add the 0.2 milligram of the organic compound to it. Then boil the contents around for 2 to 3 minutes. Then formation of red precipitate of cuprous oxide, it shows the presence of an aldehyde. See here, for example, this aldehyde is there. It reacts with this reagent. It forms, see here, cuprous oxide. This is known as generally this cuprous oxide is in red color. That means generally red precipitate is formed, the Cu2O, cuprous oxide. This indicates the presence of aldehyde groups. For example, this is acetaldehyde. It again reduces this Fehling solution to cuprous oxide. That means it is again red precipitate is formed in Fehling's solution also. This is about the analysis of aldehydes and ketones. That means aldehydes and ketones, the presence of aldehydes and ketones. That means we have to identify the presence by 2,4 DNP, dinitrophenyl hydrogen test. If it gives yellow color PPT, generally the presence of aldehydes and ketones is confirmed. And second test is haloform test. The methyl ketones and acetaldehyde in aldehydes, they give this haloform test, and that means when this haloform, generally it is it is in yellow PPT. This shows the formation of haloform, that is generally yellow precipitate. It indicates the presence of acetaldehyde or methyl ketone in the given compound. And next, coming to analysis of aldehydes. Aldehydes generally they act as reducing agents. First, Schiff solution test. this aldehydes, they restore the color of the Schiff's reagent. And coming to Tollens test, Tollens reagent, this aldehydes reduces Tollens reagent into silver. That means silver mirror is formed. And coming to failing solution, this aldehydes, they reduce into cuprous oxide. That means red precipitate is formed. This indicates the presence of aldehyde group. Next, coming to alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. See here, these are having these are industrial important compounds, and these are found in environment. See here, alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. That is, in the carbonyl compounds, at alpha and beta, between alpha and beta carbon, if double bond, generally double bond is there, those are said to be alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. These are, that means, a compound having carbon carbon double bond in conjugation with the carbonyl group is called as alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. That means compound having carbon carbon double bond in conjugation with carbonyl group is called as alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. For example, see here, these are some examples of this alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. See here, this is acrolein or propinol. See here, propinol, this is an alpha beta unsaturated compound. See here, this is carbonyl group, aldehyde group. This is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon. Here unsaturation is there. That means this is an alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. See here, the second one is also, see here, this is crotonaldehyde or 2-butanol. This is also an alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. And next, this is also, see here, if you observe methyl vinyl ketone, this is another example for alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. See here, this is another example, that is methyl oxide or 4-methyl pent 3-ene-2-one. This is another example for this alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. And next, coming to this preparations of this alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. These alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, they prepared by generally aldol condensation. In aldol condensation, this alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds are formed as products. Generally, the carbonyl compounds which are having alpha hydrogen atom, they undergo aldol condensation. That means, in the presence of dilute base, generally carbonyl compounds containing alpha hydrogens, they treat with the base to form beta hydroxy compounds, which on dehydration it forms alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. For example, see here, this is the reaction, acetaldehyde is there. That means it undergoes aldol condensation to form an aldol product, that is our beta hydroxy carbonyl compound. See here, this is beta hydroxyaldehyde. For example, this is 2-hydroxybutanol, which upon that means with the loss of water molecule, it forms alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. See here, in case of acetaldehyde, first this 2-hydroxybutanol is formed with the loss of water molecule. See here, this OH from here and H from this carbon, and double bond is formed between the two carbons, and the double bond is here between alpha and beta carbons. Hence, this is alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. The name of this compound is 2-butanol. Let us see one more example. See here, this is a propanone. Propanone, again in the presence of base, it forms beta hydroxy ketone. Beta hydroxy ketone is the product, which upon with the loss of water molecule, see here, OH is from here and hydrogen from here, and we get double bond here. And moreover, this double bond is between alpha and beta carbons. This compound is known as alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. This is methyl oxide, which is prepared from propanone or acetone. It means this alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, they prepared from aldol condensation. Aldol condensation means the carbonyl compounds which are having alpha hydrogen, they undergo aldol condensation to give this alpha beta. First of all, they give beta hydroxy carbonyl compounds, and this beta hydroxy carbonyl compounds, they undergo dehydration, and they form alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. See, these are some reactions to form alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. Coming to alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, they undergo electrophilic addition across this C double bond C, that is between alpha and beta carbons. The double bond is there. At this double bond, electrophilic addition occurs generally. Uh, See here, and we know that this C double bond, that is the carbonyl group, or of course COH group, COR group. These carbonyl groups generally they are electron withdrawing groups, and they deactivate the C double bond C, the bond towards electrophilic addition reactions. Generally, these electrophilic addition reactions are generally anti-Markovnikov additions. Of course, that means in case unsymmetrical addendum due to resonance effect, and of course peroxide effect is not observed in these alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. That means alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, they involve this anti-Markovnikov electrophilic addition reactions. Means due to the presence of this withdrawing nature of these carbonyl groups, they due to this alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, they undergo electrophilic additions, and these reactions they involve the Markovnikov anti-Markovnikov additions. See here, for example, these double bond is there, here carbonyl group is there, which are in conjugation. See, shifting of this double bond to here and this to here, that means here easily it gets a positive charge on this carbon, hence electrophile can easily attack at this carbon. That means due to the presence of this withdrawing nature of this carbonyl group, first of all we get carbonium ion here, hence electrophile can easily attack at this carbon. So these alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, they undergo electrophilic addition reactions. For example, see here, if you see one reaction, see here, this is one reaction, addition of HCl to this. See here, this is HCl, it is added to this alpha beta unsaturated compound. See here, first this oxygen, it takes this H plus from here and it forms OH plus. As it is the double bonds are in conjugation, see here, this double bond shifts here and this here, and we get here carbonium ion, and upon treating that means the Cl minus, it takes the Cl minus, and Cl minus adds at this carbonium ion, and see here again rearrangement takes place, and again the carbonyl group again it forms, that means tautomerism takes place, the enol group is again converted into carbonyl group. So 3-chloropropanol is formed in case of this alpha beta unsaturated compound. That means first in the presence of this reagent HCl, this compound it forms enol, this double oxygen takes H plus and it forms OH plus, that is it forms this type of enol and carbonium ion here, and this carbonium ion takes the negative part the of the addendum, and see here this here in this case chlorine is added at this carbonium ion, and again this enol part again it undergoes some rearrangement and it forms this carbonyl compound again. And next coming to the last reaction, that is Michael addition. See here, coming to this addition, actually Michael he added dimethyl diethyl malonate to a solution of one equivalent of sodium ethoxide in ethanol. That means when this sodium malonic ester is separated, and then he added one equivalent of ethyl cinnamate, that is alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound. The precipitate gradually dissolved, and on working up the reaction mixture, Michael isolated the addition product in near quantitative yield. See here, first of all, this alpha beta unsaturated compound is taken. See here, like this. This is alpha beta unsaturated compound, and to this, see, diethyl malonate in the presence of sodium ethoxide is taken. That is the reagent here. Here, what happens? This CHCOOC2H5. That means in the presence of in diethyl malonate, it is added to this carbon, and next with the loss of that means in the presence of basic conditions. See here, this esters here, this ester and this ester hydrolyzed to form carboxylic acids, and next with the removal of here dicarboxylic acid is there. Upon heating, it loses carbon dioxide and forms here one COH group. This is known as beta phenyl glutaric acid. Beta phenyl glutaric acid. That means, see here, this in this Michael addition, actually to the alpha beta unsaturated compound, a mixture of diethyl malonate and sodium ethoxide were added. See here, this is to this alpha beta unsaturated compound, diethyl malonate and sodium ethoxide were added, and we get this type of compound here, which in the presence of base, it means the two esters, they get converted into carboxylic acids. Of course, this is having two COH groups, which upon heating it loses carbon dioxide and it forms this COH group. This is known as Michael addition. And see here, for example, if we consider the reaction of the alkoxide catalyzed reaction of benzol acetophenone with sodium malonic ester, the anion derived from the hydrogen donor component attacks the relatively positive carbon atom of the acceptor system to produce enolate anion. This abstracts a proton from ethanol to give the product and regenerate ethoxide ion. See here, this is that reaction. This is benzol acetophenone in the presence of this sodium ethoxide with this sodium malonic ester. First of all, here this anion is formed, and then next, see here, actually this anion is formed. This is derived from the active hydrogen donor component, and it attacks the relatively positive carbon atom of the acceptor system to produce and this enolate ion. This abstract a proton from the ethanol to give the product. This is about the Michael addition reaction, and with this this is a small introduction to alpha beta unsaturated compounds we have in our chapter. These alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, they have industrial importance, and these alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, they prepared from aldol condensation reaction. In aldol condensation reactions, these products generally formed alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. And moreover, coming to the chemical reactions, these alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, they undergo electrophilic addition reactions, Because of the presence of carbonyl groups, they facilitate this electrophilic addition reactions, and they undergo some electrophilic addition reactions. And here in this, the Michael addition is the important one, uh, that is we have discussed now. And this with this the chapter, that is carbonyl compounds, were over. And in the next class we will go through with some other topic. Thank you.